Good morning, guys. So I have a very special surprise. So I wrote to a very special scientist. His name is Eddie the entomologist. And what an entomologist does is they just study insects. And he has been sending me a letter and sent me a letter back for me to read to you guys. Okay, and so he's going to send us a letter every day for the next couple weeks so that we can learn some information from him about how to study insects. So the letter today says, "Dear students, my name is Eddie the entomologist, and I'm so excited to be writing to you. I've been told that you are about to start learning all about insects. As an entomologist, I study insects. There are so many interesting facts to learn. After you learn a little more about the traits of an insect, I will start sending you clues about the insects I'm currently studying. Once you guess the insect, you can add it to your class bug jar. Then you will have to do some research of your own. After you collect all of the insects and have done your research on them, you will earn your official entomologist badge from me. Have fun, EITs, that's entomologist in training. I will write you again soon. Your friend, Eddie." So he's going to be sending us some clues, but first we have to learn, since he's a scientist that studies insects, exactly what makes an insect an insect. So the book that we're going to read today is going to tell us what you have to be an insect. In fact, it's called animal classes. The classes, when you say an animal class, it's where you belong. So mammals is a class, okay? Fish is a class of animals. Insects is a class of animals. So today we're going to figure out what it takes to be an insect. Are you ready? And this nonfiction book is written by Julie Murray. And so as we're going through it, we're still going to be looking, remember, for those nonfiction text features that help us learn from the book. Insects, there's our big heading for the page. Insects are all around you. There are more than 1 million different kinds. So there are so many different kinds of insects. Insects have been on Earth for more than 400 million years. This is actually called a rhinoceros beetle right here. Now, looking at this rhinoceros beetle, can you guess what kind of adaptation do you think he has that helps him survive? Look at his body. That's right, he has this big horn that helps him fight and helps him protect himself. Insects do not have a backbone. So if you feel we have that spine and a backbone, they do not have a backbone. They have a hard covering on the outside. It is on the outside of their bodies, and we call that an exoskeleton. So they don't have a skeleton under their skin like us. They just have kind of a hard shell on the outside. An insect has 3 main body parts. They have to have 3 parts. They have the head, the thorax, which is like their chest, and then the abdomen. So right here, the dragonfly is a really good example of an insect because look, his head is segmented right here. He has this part. Then he has kind of his chest right here for the thorax, and then his abdomen's here, and his abdomen, look, is long and skinny and goes all the way down there. So the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Insects have 6 legs. Now this is a big deal because a lot of times people want to say that a spider is an insect. A spider is not an insect because a spider has 8 legs. It's an arachnid. Insects only have 6 legs. So you can see they have a pair of 3 on one side and a pair of 3 on the other. So this ant is an insect. Most insects have 2 antennas too. And see, look at the body of the ant. He's got his head right here. He has his chest for the thorax, and he has this abdomen at the back too. Most insects have wings. Honeybees fly through the air. Now they don't have to have wings though, but most insects do. Insects lay eggs. A newly hatched insect is a larva. It will grow and change into an adult. So insects are actually part of those, do you remember the word? Oviparous. They are an oviparous animal because they start out as an egg. Many insects eat nectar, pollen, and plants. A praying mantis eats other insects. Some insects are big. Titan beetles can be more than 6 inches long. So that is a big size beetle. Okay, so insect traits. So this is what they have to be considered an insect. They have to have that hard outside covering. They can't have a backbone, that exoskeleton, okay? They have to have those 3 main body parts, the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. They have to have 6 legs. Most of them have wings, but remember, that's not a have to. And then they change as they grow. They might start out as an egg, and then they change their body, and maybe into like a larva, and then they end up becoming an adult. And these are just some words that we heard. Abdomen is the rear part of an insect's body. The antenna is a long pair of thin body parts that help the insect feel and smell. A larva is an insect once it hatches, but it's not quite an adult. Nectar, we know what nectar is. It's that sweet liquid inside plants. And then pollen is that, remember the sticky stuff, the powder that gets stuck to bees as they go from flower to flower. All right, and then we have another text feature. We have the index. So if we want to know where it talked about eggs, it'll tell us to turn to page 17 there. All right, so here is what you guys are going to do. We're going to connect to Seesaw, and I'm going to show you what you're going to be doing. All right, guys, so when you hit add response to this activity, you're going to see a picture of the ant right here, because we learned that an ant is an insect because it had certain characteristics. So your job is you're going to try to think of the things that this ant has to have to be considered an insect. Now you can do this 2 ways. You can click the label button and you can type in like head and put it and label it and move it by the head. Or then you can put, whoops, 6 legs, I put eggs, 6 legs and label it and move it towards the legs. You can do it by labeling like that, or you could also, if you're not comfortable with that, you can hit the microphone. And what you can do is you can tell me by speaking what the parts are, but I want you to circle them so I know which parts you're talking about. So I can say, insects have to have 6 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. An insect has 3 body parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen, okay? And then you can tell me some other facts on there about insects and what they have to be considered an insect. Then you can hit done. So it's your choice. You can label with words, or you can label it by speaking it, but I want you to circle the part so I know you know which part you're talking about, okay? But try to remember what that insect had to have for it to be considered an insect, okay? All right. I can't wait to see what our letter from Eddie the entomologist is going to be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.